Welcome back. We're going to talk about dungeon raiding again. This video is going to be focused on the offensive side of dungeon raiding. If you didn't get a chance to check out the first dungeon raiding video, I would highly encourage you to do that. We talked a lot about the mechanics of dungeon raiding, when skills can be used on the defensive side, when characters are going to use their skills, turn order, those kind of things. So check that out if you didn't get a chance already. Alright, first thing we're going to do is look at the leaderboard for this current tournament. Alright, so I'm currently listed at number 13. Now these are 48-hour tournaments, and you get a refresh every 2 hours. So at most, without spending gems, you can get 24 attacks. I've got basically 2 attacks that I'll be able to do before the end of this tournament, so I'll get to 23. And then if I had to, I could use some gems to get a couple more in there. But what that tells me is that anybody that's gone over top of that number, so right through here I see 41, 22, that person stayed in there, 24, 26, 37, it's kind of way over. And this actually is a combination, so that's just their successful ones, but 37 plus 7, so they've spent a lot of gems trying to work their way up here. Get 27 plus 8. Basically everyone above this level has spent some gems on this, so just something to keep in mind. If you're struggling, you need to at least moderate that with your position and how that compares to people who either are or are not spending gems on it. You're not going to get to the top levels if you're not spending any gems on it. Doesn't mean that you should do that, but just kind of moderate your expectations. But that number 10 person, that's pretty solid. They've got 22 wins, 2 losses. I was pretty excited after that last video, all the knowledge that was kind of gained and put together on how to do these dungeon raids. I haven't lost a battle since. Now I'm sure that I will before too long, but really my percentage has really gotten very high for that. Shortly I'll be focusing on defense. As you can see here, I was split 9 successful, 9 lost defenses. We're going to work on those numbers, but you can see the other teams. Let's look at some of these that don't have any losses. Nobody was even trying against this guy. Try to see. It'd be nice if you could see their whole team, that they've got their lineup, but so far there's no way to do that. So anyway, just a quick look over to see that just about the whole top 10 team here is using some gems. If I'm right on the border, I might use gems to set me over in the last hour. Otherwise, I'm not gonna be spending much on something like this. My normal place is right around 9 or 10, and I usually try to just squeak barely in there and get in. So very excited about this 21-0, and let's look at a few of those. All right, first up we've got Lego Darth. Let's see what he's got going on here. So he's got one slow character. He's got Tumi, Swift, and Rogar. So we're taking some hits here. We know we're going to take some damage, but I didn't bring Masuta because I didn't want to do any damage to Tumi ahead of time. Now we've taken some damage. We actually lost Igorok, but Tumi on our side has had a major damage buff because of his health decrease. So with that, we only needed the 2 characters to finish them off entirely. It didn't matter that they took out Igorok. Everything was good. Next up, Lowly. Let's check out their team. So again, Tumi. He's a very common defender, and that's why I'm swapping out and bringing in King Bramble. You got that cruel king, and he's going to buff whoever lives through this first round. So we do the Goblin Dance Party. Got some pretty good defense on the other side. Start off with Polar Pounding, and here they've got 1 level on us, but takes out a massive amount of their health right away. Soul Shred, I don't fully understand why this is happening, but you're getting a double attack most of the time. There you can see it right there. 2 attacks on Tumi. Anyone who lives through that first attack, you get a second attack on them. Next up is the Lover of Kitty. You might love Kitty, but her team is getting taken down. Again with Tumi, this is a very similar looking fight. We've got a team that we went up against, or the similar type of team, but here they are 6 levels above us. And you can tell with that damage that's being dealt. We've got taken a lot of damage. We've got characters going down. Gonna finish up there. Now we've only got 2 left and only 1 character that's actually gonna have a mass effect. So I was a little worried about this, but we do polar pounding. This was by far, I would say, the most worrisome at this point. So it mobilized everyone except the Fist of Justice comes down, does some damage. So Stone Fist is immune to the freeze. Finish off Tumi. That's a big comfort. This was a concern as well. We had that taunt go on, only got single person attacks at this point. Luckily, Bramble's doing quite a bit of damage with his elemental bonus there. We've got what's left of Pontifex coming in. He doesn't do a whole lot in that form, but it's enough to finish off the team. That's a team that was 6 levels higher. It's really a big difference. Next up, less Gator. Appreciate a little less Gator myself sometimes. And we've got the same team. He didn't bring Tumi, but I was really enjoying using Bramble, so I thought I'd bring him to this fight too. They have their own Bramble. Taking some damage. And the goal here is usually to wipe out the other team before they get to the slow round. And if that doesn't work, at least have Polar Pounding freeze Chief Nub Nub so that we don't have to fight with all that. Alright, so Frozen was resisted, so that's a concern for me, because I've got to make sure I finish everyone off then. Luckily, Tumi with that buff does massive amounts of damage. So that there's almost nothing left, and then Chaos Storm just comes in and finishes him off. Another nice round for this team. Next up we have Chaos. I switched up a little bit and brought Masuta. They didn't have Tumi, so I didn't have to worry about that. Their fast character still gets to go first, but then my fast character goes, does Death Blossom on their whole team, and a little extra damage on Ella. You get that elemental bonus. They have damage reflection. I've never found this to be all that threatening for the team. I'd much rather have that than a high attack. And it turns out that our whole team lived through that first round, which spells danger. We get Polar Pounding coming in, and then Soul Shred. Even though they're taking damage from that reflection, they're still just overwhelmed the damage against the other team. So they get finished off quickly, and another round 1. The final battle for this video goes to NatHap. We're invading his dungeon. I really like seeing a team at this point that has a slow player on it, just because that means I'm only taking 3 attacks before I get to do the massive damage. No Tumi, so I could have swapped in Masuta here, but just enjoying Bramble too much. Now they can't leave my 3 area effect damage dealers alive like this. There's just no chance of survival. So Soul Shred's going to have the damage buff on it. He's below that 75% mark. Just massive damage to everyone. There's barely anything left of Stone Fist, but we'll finish him off with Chaos Storm. Actually, he's magical, so he gets takes less damage from that kind of attack, from a magical attack. So we'll have to hit him one more time. Well, that's it for this dungeon raid video. As always, let me know if you have any questions or if there are any specific topics you want to see a video on. And thanks for watching.